Jai Shri Shri Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhari Shri Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Ju Ki Jai Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju Ki Jai Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupara Shatara Shata Shishmar Bhaktivedānta Narayan Gosvāmī Mahārāja Ki Jai Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupara Shatara Shata Shishmar Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja Ki Jai Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupara Shatara Shata Shishmar Bhaktivedānta Trivikram Gosvāmī Mahārāja Ki Jai Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupara Shatara Shata Shishmar Bhaktivedānta Swami Mahārāja Śrīla Prabhupada Ki Jai Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupara Shatara Shata Shishmar Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Gosvāmī Mahārāja Ki Jai Nityalila Pravishtam Vishnupara Shatara Shata Shishmar Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai Nityalila Pravishta Maha Bhagavat Śrīla Gaurkishora Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai Nityalila Pravishta Śrīla Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai Nityalila Pravishta Vaiṣṇava Sarvabhauma Śrīla Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai Shri Rupa Nugagariya Guru Varga Ki Jai Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath, Shri Jiva Gopal Bhattadasa Raghunath, Sharda Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai, Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari, Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda Ki Jai, Namachay Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai, Prem Se Koho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Shri Kshetra Mandal Gaura Mandala, Vraja Mandala, Mathura Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai, Sarva Abhishtabhadatta Giriraj Maharaj Ki Jai, Shri Radha Kunda, Shama Kunda Ki Jai, Shri Yamuna Devi Ganga Devi Ki Jai, Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi Ki Jai, Shri Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Shri Purnamasi Yogamaya Ki Jai, Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev Ki Jai, Shri Kartik Vrat Niyam Seva Ki Jai, Urja Vrat Ki Jai, Urjeshwari Raseshwari Shivishabhanu Nandini Shrimati Radha Thakurani Ki Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo Hare Krishna. I see there are a couple people there on either YouTube or Facebook. Pranams to both of you, whoever you are. So I am going where we are going to read from this book, A True Servant, A True Master. At the very end of this book, there is a section called... wait, which one are we reading from now? I'm just checking. Okay, yeah, we're going to read about how Śrīla Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja was the perfect embodiment of the 26 qualities of a Vaiṣṇava. Yeah, there's a very beautiful thing. I forgot where it was translated from, actually. But yeah, it gives a story and a little anecdote describing different pastimes of what that showed how he. How he embodied each one of these qualities of a Vaishnava given by Śrīla Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami in Chaitanya Charitamrita. So I won't waste any more time. I'll share my screen and we can begin. And Srivas just sent me a message saying that he's going to post something on his website, bigdrum.us, for Śrīla Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja and Śrīla Trivikram Gosvāmī Mahārāja. So if there's time at the end, maybe we could also read from that. We could be some of the first readers. He actually sent it to me over Messenger, just like copied and pasted the whole article and sent it to me on Messenger. But I'm not sure if he wants me to read it before he actually posts it on his website. So we'll see what he says. I just wrote him a message. So, okay. One second. Let me just open up. I put it on a Word document. Srivas also translated this book here that we're reading from. Okay. One 1 second. Sorry, I should have opened it up before. Here. Okay, there it is. The full embodiment of a Vaishnava's 26 qualities. 1 second. This is from page, if you have this book, it is on page, what is it? Here. Page 420. Of the infinite qualities of a Vaishnava, 26 are given special mention by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, thus pointing us in the direction of the full extent of the Vaishnava's glory. All of these qualities were observed to be naturally present in Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja to the fullest degree. These qualities are fully supramundane, aprakrita. Shri Krishna himself is the source of them. It is never possible for them to exist or arise on the mundane platform. Shri Krishna only infuses those whom he has accepted as his own with these qualities. Sarva maha guna gan Vaiṣṇava sharire Krishna bhakte Krishna gun sakale sanchare. All exalted virtues dwell in the body of the Vaishnava. All of Krishna's qualities are infused in his devotees. So now we will begin the 26 qualities of Vaishnava given in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. 1. Kripalu. A Vaishnava is merciful. Just as Bhagavan is Dinabandhu, the friend of the fallen, the Vaishnava is Paradukka Dukhi, aggrieved by the sorrows of others. The cause of all the living entities' sorrows is forgetfulness of Bhagavan. Forgetfulness in this case refers to the living entity's indifference to its own natural, unconditional propensity to serve Bhagavan. Because the living entity has forgotten the propensity that is his only true bliss, his eternal bliss, Parananda, extreme sorrow, Paradukkha, has taken its place. Yes. The soul's disconnection from the Supersoul is the ultimate sorrow and has become the 3 types of material miseries. The Vaishnava is aggrieved by that Paradukkha, not mundane sorrows and scarcities. For decades, almost 12 months a year, Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja busied himself going from home to home in the villages of Bengal, Bihar, and Assam, preaching the message of Sri Chaitanya, striving to turn everyone towards the worship of Krishna. In those days, especially in rural areas, there was very little infrastructure and people were very poor. Regardless, every year, enduring all manner of hardship, he would travel out to the remotest village regions, places where other preachers were hesitant to go. His was a heartfelt manner of preaching, full of love and kindness. To this day, the people in those villages recall his visits with tears in their eyes. This was something he did year after year. Most of the villages were accessible only by foot, on paths often knee-deep with mud. He would walk miles and miles on these muddy paths in the torrential rain. Often, in the absence of boats, he had to cross rivers carrying his clothes in a bundle above his head. Actually, there's this little book about Śrīla Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja. There's a couple stories there where he actually, of devotees who witnessed this. Every year, the people of these villages would eagerly wait his scheduled arrival. And every year, he would bring many of them to Navadvip and make all arrangements for them there, nurturing them like a father and taking them on pilgrimage of Sri Gaurhari's holy abode. Actually, I know even just traveling with Tirtha Maharaj every year on Bengal Prachar for 3 years, I went. And many times there were villages that you couldn't access by road because there'd just be a very tiny path, and it was too messed up. The road was way too messed up to even for a rickshaw to go. So we'd have to carry all our pots and all our bags and everything on our heads and walk through rice fields lots of times. And there would be no electric current into the entire village lots of times. And yeah, so but Śrīla Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja would even go into more remote places, like in the Sundarbans, and where, yeah. This isn't an exaggeration, that's what I mean to say. 2. Akrita droha, non-malicious. Mahabhagavat Vaishnavas are ever anxious for the living entities to attain ultimate auspiciousness. Hence, they never engage in any sort of malicious activity towards any living creature. Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja was the embodiment of a non-malicious disposition. What to speak of malice, he was always making sure that he did not cause anyone any sort of agitation. He would always say, Jivana nirvahe ane udveg nadibe para upakare nija sukha pasaribe. In the course of maintaining one's life, one must not disturb others, but rather forego one's own comforts for the benefit of others. And that is from Srila Bhaktivedānta Thakur's, I think it is Prabhupada Pada Yuge Mora Nivedan. He was truly the radiant personification of this statement. In the course of maintaining one's life, one must not disturb others, but rather forego one's own comforts for the benefit of others. So he was the radiant personification of this statement. He was even extremely hesitant to ask anything of the devotee who looked after him. One should not give agitation to the Vaishnavas, he would say, revealing the inner torment it caused him to ask anyone of anything of anyone. When he was preaching and staying with different grihastas, he was always careful not to cause them any disturbance, even if he knew them very well, and always made sure the devotees traveling with him were also careful in this regard. If he happens to arrive very late at night at someone's home, he would tell them, "Do not worry, we already took prasad." Even if this was not true, he would assure the grihastas he had eaten, and he would stay hungry through the night. In general, he never said anything to anyone, even his own disciples, that would disturb them in any way. He would often say, "I blow even on panta bhat," that's the rice left soaking overnight in water, "before I eat it." The rice left soaking in water is already cold, but he'll even blow on that. Not only that, if someone wanted to provoke him, he would not allow himself to be affected. He was very tolerant in this way, and this disposition of his was very well known throughout the Gaudiya Vaiṣṇava community. I think there's actually, even he mentions this, I blow on even panta bhat, in one of the letters, if I remember correctly. Okay, Satyasar. One second. Okay. Satyasar, that's third quality of Vaishnava. That means truthful. Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja had taken to heart the essence of the supreme truth manifested in the current of transcendental conceptions flowing from Srila Bhaktivedānta Thakur, Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Saraswati Thakur, and Śrīmad Bhakti-Pragyan Keshav Goswami. He never deviated from the practice and propagation of that truth for even a moment. No plea or opposition could make him waver even slightly from his conviction in the truth they taught. His conviction was in following the guidance of Srila Bhaktivedānta Thakur, Śrīmad Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and Śrīmad Bhakti-Pragyan Keshav Goswāmī Mahārāja. In this context, he would say, Acharya je mata she mata sar, arjata mata sab jauka charakar. The conclusions of the acharyas are the essence. All other conclusions can fall to ruin. The conclusion of the acharyas are the essence. All other conclusions can fall to ruin. Okay, quality 4, sama. How do you say it? Equanimous, right? I think so. In happiness or distress, in the company of friends or foes, whether receiving honor or insults from others, in all situations, Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja was endlessly calm and composed. Because of this samabuddhi, or equilibrium, his tolerance was quite natural. He could be in a place that had an utterly foul stench and not be bothered in the slightest. Sama lostrashama kanchana. That means pebbles and gold are the same, he would say. In places that were horrendously noisy, he would, without difficulty, go about his writing and studies, and then easily take rest. Even in extremely insulting situations, he would remain unperturbed. Everyone is a servant of Krishna and my teacher, he would say. With this attitude, his expertise at giving honor, whether it was to a small child or to an extremely arrogant person, was genuinely astonishing. To have love for God, friendship with the pure devotees, mercy for the ignorant, and indifference for the envious is quite impossible to even conceive of for those of mundane intelligence. The genuine realization that all living beings are servants of Krishna is the basis of the Madhyam Adhikari's equal vision. But the way he would offer pranam to his disciples, or those on the level of his disciples, and address them as Prabhu, is indicative of how a Mahabhagavat sees others. We were just reading about this in Gurudev's glorification of Srila Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja this morning. Gurudev was talking about Srila Bhaktivedānta Gosvāmī Mahārāja, how he would also give honor and offer pranam like that to those who are on the level of his disciples and serve them, like the disciples of his god brothers. Okay, quality 5, nirdosh, faultless. One second, just drinking some water. Okay, nirdosh, faultless. In regard to this virtue, Srila Bhaktivedānta Thakur has written the following. As Vaishnavas are exalted beings, their character needs to be exalted and worthy of following. If a Vaishnava's character is poor, then how will other souls who are of weaker character learn proper behavior? Taking these matters into consideration, all those who are acharyas and who impart mantras should and will make special efforts to keep their character free from flaw. So that was Bhaktivedānta Thakur who wrote that. Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja was naturally of such flawless character. The filth of the 5 places where Parikshit Mahārāja allowed Kali to live, gambling, intoxication, illicit sex, violence to other living entities, and gold, never dared to touch him. When he left his home at the age of 9 and spent his whole life dedicated to following the guidance of Paramahansa Gaudiya Vaishnavas, What appeal could these vices of Kali have for him? Even though he was the president of a huge institution, he never had a personal bank account. He used to say, "My bank is in the pocket of my kurta. Whatever I have for the service of Hari, Guru, and Vaishnavas is all there." For the last 15 years of his manifest presence, he stopped even touching money. The devotees serving him saw to financial matters, and from time to time he would simply instruct those devotees to provide financial support where needed for the service of Bhagavan. No one ever saw him indulge in any kind of luxury of convenience. All his life, he used simple ordinary soap and a rather old-fashioned type of rubber shoes. As long as a garment was not ripped or falling apart, he could not and would not part with it. If someone gave him a new set of clothes, he would ask the devotees to pass it on to serve the Vaishnavas. Once, someone gave him a new kind of soap that was sandalwood scented, and he got rather upset. "Are you trying to get a license for your own indulgences by getting me to use this?" he said. "Use this in the service of Shishi Radha Vinod Bihari, please. They are the ones who have the right to enjoy such nice things." It's just sandalwood scented soap. Wow. Okay. Quality 6. Vadanya, magnanimous. What is generally referred to as magnanimity was denounced by Śrīla Rupa Goswami when he offered his obeisance to Sri Gaurasundar and addressed him as Mahavadanya, greatly magnanimous. One who is well versed in the wondrous qualities of Sri Krishna Chaitanya's mercy becomes infused with a similar Mahavadanya quality. It was by the painstaking and heartfelt endeavors of the greatly magnanimous personalities such as Sri Bhaktivedānta Thakur, Sri Śrīmad Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, and Sri Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Keshav Goswāmī Mahārāja that all corrupted forms of the soul's eternal religion were dispelled, and the pristine current of the highest teachings preserved within this earthly realm. Sri Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Keshav Goswāmī Mahārāja founded Sri Gaudiya Vedanta Samiti to safeguard this pure current of devotional conceptions, and then entrusted it to his dear Sri Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja, whom he had taught and trained since childhood. He was his only caretaker, him and Narahari Prabhu, from when he was 9 years old. They took full responsibility for him in every way. So, Sri Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja displayed his great magnanimity by keeping that sacred current undisturbed and undiluted. He would always say, "Sri Gaudiya Vedanta Samiti is non-different from my Guru Pad Padma. How can so Gaudiya Vedanta Samiti is non-different from my Guru Pad Padma, and I can never be separated from my Guru Pad Padma." He simply sought to inspire the living entities in the process of worship that was revealed by his Guru Varga, worship of Rajendra Nandan Shri Krishna as served by the gopis of Raj. He kept an extremely wide berth of all devious conceptions and strongly emphasized the maintenance of the standards set by Sri Śrīmad Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, which included the strict observance of Chaturmasya Vrat, Purushottam Vrat, Ekadashi, Shri Krishna Janmashtami, Shri Rama Navami, and all other sacred fasting days. Moreover, he never condoned any compromise in regard to the conduct of initiated devotees, which meant strict prohibition of them engaging in the worship of demigods and goddesses, and consuming tea, pan, alcohol, cigarettes, drugs, and non-vegetarian foodstuffs. One lady who had heard Śrīla Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja's Harikatha for a long time, and who had wanted to follow proper Vaishnava Sadachar, she repeatedly approached him to receive Harinam and Diksha. But her husband refused to give up eating meat, and she had to cook for him. Finally, after a great many tearful requests for him to just give her a mala that he had not even chanted on, he told her, "Mother, I do not have the right to do anything independently. I am bound and obligated to my superiors. You are a mother to me. Are you going to force your son to do something that is forbidden?" His great magnanimity was that he safeguarded the impeccable standard of Vaishnava Dharma so carefully amid the ocean of contaminations that is Kali Yuga, and inspired his followers to do the same. Nirapeksha na hoile dharma na jai rakshane. One cannot protect dharma unless one is uncompromising. Don't know where that is a quote from. Let me just check really quick. Chaitanya Charitamrita. Okay, Chaitanya Charitamrita Antilila 3:23. Quality 7, gentle. Mridu, gentle. The bhakti lata, the vine of devotion, is very tender. It cannot survive in a hard heart. If one does not relinquish kutarka, that's specious reasoning, and desires for sense enjoyment, the heart does not become soft. And if the heart does not soften, Bhakti Devi cannot appear there. As taste, as ruchi arises for anything related to Bhagavan, the heart softens to the point that it remains constantly melted. Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja's nature was so soft and gentle that the moment people came into his presence, they would be overwhelmed by it. Thousands and thousands of people were blessed to be able to bathe simultaneously in the nectarous ocean of affection of his gentle heart. I'm doing a reading right now. I'll come up after. Sorry about that. Thousands and thousands of people were blessed to be able to bathe simultaneously in the nectarous ocean of affection of his gentle heart. Everyone felt like they were the special object of his affection and felt supreme satisfaction in that. In the ambience of that softness, no one could be hesitant or withdrawn. Whoever came into the proximity of his childlike tenderness would blossom and seat him on the throne of their heart. He himself would say, "I am a child, and you are all my guardians." He would also say, "We are all children in front of Bhagavan. If you cannot be simple-hearted like a child, you can't become a Vaishnava. Just as an infant has no other language besides crying, we have no other alternative than to weep while chanting Harinam before Bhagavan. If the infant does not cry, the mother doesn't give him milk. Not that one should make a show of crying. It has to be the crying of the heart. And Bhagavan, who lives in the heart, knows well what that is. Can a parent remain unmoved by the crying of their child?" Quality 8. Shuchi, clean. Gangara parasha hoile paschate pavan darshane pavitra karo e tomar guna. That's by Śrīla Narottam Das Thakur. E bar karuna karo Vaiṣṇava. One becomes pure by touching the Ganga, but your quality is that the mere sight of you is purifying. Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja was truly the personification of such purificatory power. What to speak of seeing him? Just remembering him purifies the heart. That is why it has been said in Śrīmad Bhagavatam 1.3.10, Tirti kurvanti tirtani svantastena gadabhrita. Because you, the devotees, carry Bhagavan Gadadhar bound within your heart, you make holy places holy. One second, Shrivas said. Okay. Yes, Shrivas just said that he's posting it tonight on bigdrum.us if anybody wants. If you want to see the article, the 2 articles when they're published, never before seen in English, translated into English for the first time, you could go to his website, bigdrum.us, and subscribe. Okay, so because you carry Bhagavan Gadadhar bound within your heart, you make the holy places holy. Oh, thanks. By the rare darshan of such Mahabhagavats, the living entity becomes purified of the inclination for sinful activity. The tendency for sin must be dispelled for one to become inspired to perform Hari Bhajan. Then, by hearing the divine message emanating from the lips of those devotees, the living entity can advance in Hari Bhajan. Many, many fortunate persons were drawn to Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja in this way and became engaged in Hari Bhajan. In regard to cleanliness, he would say, all manner of purity, inner and outer, depends on remembering the lotus-eyed Sri Hari. Sri Nam Bhajan is not to be given up in any condition of purity or impurity, because it is the eternal function of the living entity. Chanting Sri Nam with conviction and serving Sri Vigraha, who is non-different from Sri Nam, is imperative for every sadhak and sadhika. But there is no need to practice the stringent and ritualistic standards of cleanliness as observed in the Smarta tradition. Quality 9. Akinchana, possessionless. To be free of the arrogance associated with high birth, opulence, education, and physical beauty is true akinchanata. That's true possessionlessness. Only one who is a kinchana is trinad api sunicha. That mood of being bereft of any and all possessions, and that quality of being humbler than a blade of grass was evident in every step Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja took. He would often say, I am always staying under trees. I never stay in buildings. I really have no address. My only real refuge is under trees. These were not mere words. He would spend day after day in utter delight in the rickety cottages of very poor devotees. Once in Koch Bihar, he was invited to stay at the home of a poor disciple. That night, a storm blew in, and it began raining very heavily. Water began leaking through the thatched roof onto his bed. Instead of telling anyone, he just sat through the whole night, holding an umbrella over his head to keep dry. He even forbade his sevak from saying anything to the host. In this way, he did not get any rest all night. But he felt more comfortable staying with poor devotees in their straw cottages than with proud rich people in their multi-story mansions. If ever coerced to go into a rich person's house, he was always very uncomfortable in the environment. He would say, Bhagavan has more mercy for the poor. Aristocrats, scholars, and wealthy people are very arrogant. You cannot buy Hari, Guru, and Vaishnavas with wealth, opulence, and erudition. These efforts to buy me really make me uncomfortable. Poor people naturally have a humble mood because of their lack of money, and such a mood is favorable for sadhan bhajan. If those people gain sadhu sangha, they can easily progress on the path of sadhan bhajan, much more easily than those who are rich and arrogant. Poverty is really not a curse, but an advantage in obtaining the real mercy of Guru, Vaishnavas, and Bhagavan. Such an akinchan sate, who has no enmity toward anyone and is wholly indifferent to wealth, position, and prestige, is truly rare. In the Hindi patrika, there's the lady who tells this story. I forgot what her name is, but you could find it in the Bhagavat Patrika. When he came to her house, she's very poor, and she just had a thatched hut, and when it was raining, it was pouring all over inside the house, and he never told her. She only found out after he left. 10. Sarvopakaraka. Works for the benefit of all. Bharata bhumite manushya janma hoilo jar, janma sarthaka kori koro para upakar. It's also Chaitanya Bhagavat, is it? Chaitanya Charitamrita. Those who have taken a human birth in the land of India should make their lives worthwhile by engaging in the welfare of others. It is through the compassion of Sri Chaitanya Chandra, the abode of mercy, that one can offer the greatest help to any and all living entities. The resonance of the Krishna Sankirtan Yajna propagated by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu simultaneously invokes supreme auspiciousness for mountains, trees, plants, animals, birds, and human beings of every kind. In order to duly and beautifully spread Śrīmad Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan Yajna everywhere, Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja established temples and ashrams everywhere, thus providing all living entities with the means to gain ultimate auspiciousness. Even when a dangerous creature like a snake appeared in front of him in the assembly where he was lecturing on Bhagavatam, he told the frightened audience not to harm it in any way, and had it listen to that Bhagavat Katha. After a short while, the snake went away peacefully. He remarked that he had not detected any harmful intent in the snake, and he surmised that it was likely a special sadhak. On countless occasions, he delivered various ghosts and spirits by reciting Harikatha and chanting Harinam to them in the middle of the night. He would provide Mahaprasad meals to the poor. Provide Mahaprasad meals to the poor and distressed, and would even provide them financial assistance. Quality 11. Shanta, peaceful. Shamo man nishtata buddhe. Peace means absorbing one's intelligence in me. That's Śrīmad Bhagavatam 11:19-33. The jiva only becomes truly peaceful if his intelligence becomes fixed upon Krishna. Those who want material enjoyment and those who want salvation or mystic powers are not peaceful. Aside from the devotees of Krishna, no one is peaceful. Being peaceful does not just mean being disciplined and sober. It means being free from agitation, having brought one's senses under control, having no violent impulses, never being susceptible to provocation, being content, etc. Aptly named Santosh, satisfied, Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja displayed these virtues from a very early age, and thus became dear to everyone. It was because he was devoted to Krishna from birth that he went to Navadvip just once at the age of 9 and became fully surrendered to Krishna, never to return to the unrest of family life. People commonly say, Saṅsara dharma boro dharma. The dharma of family life is the greatest dharma. Or they say, Age bhog pore tyag. First enjoyment, then renunciation. These popular sayings encourage entanglement in family life and cast people into oceans of misery via marriage. Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja never gave such instruction to the jivas. He would say, though the propensity for enjoyment does subside temporarily through enjoying, it never truly subsides or becomes satiated. Only through sadhu sangha, which causes the jiva's consciousness to blossom and enables him to gain knowledge of his true nature and function, do the jiva's material desires become soothed. That gives him peace, and then, by serving Krishna, he gains parashanti, supreme peace. Quality 12. Krishnaika Sharan. Surrendered exclusively to Krishna. All the qualities of a Vaiṣṇava are centered on this quality of exclusive surrender to Krishna. There's a whole article by Param Gurudev on this topic. How all the qualities of a Vaiṣṇava are centered on the quality of this quality, exclusive surrender to Krishna. It's called Vaiṣṇava Chinite Hoibe. Like the central point from which it is possible to draw a circle's circumference, this quality becomes the central pivot around which the whole sphere of all glorious qualities of a Vaishnava exist. Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja would frequently recite verses like Karma Valambaka Kechit Kechit Jnana Valambaka Vayam tu Haridasanam Pada Trana Valambaka. Where's that from? This is from Śrīla Rupa Goswami's Padyavali.
Verse composed by Śrīmad Madhav Saraswati.
And it's composed by Madhav Saraswati. So the meaning is, some resort to fruitful action and others to impersonal knowledge. But I simply take shelter of the shoes of the servants of Hari, which ferry souls across the ocean of material existence. Other times he would say, Sahayo me matram vitata dalani Vaiṣṇava kripa. Where's that from? Okay, that's from Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Thakur's Swaniyam Dashakam. The mercy of the Vaishnavas, which destroy the illusion of Maya, is my only aid. The mercy of the Vaishnavas, which destroy the illusion of Maya, is my only aid. He would always say, my every activity occurs strictly according to the orders of my masters. I am bound to them. I have no way to do anything independently. At night, when it was time to take rest, he would often be seen conversing with some invisible presence. When asked repeatedly who it was, he would relent and quietly say, my masters came. In answer to the question of who his masters were, he would point at the pictures of the Guru Varga. He would often be heard murmuring from the following kirtan. Vrishabhanu sutta charana sevane hoibo je palya dasi Radha pakachari je jana she jan je bhave she bhave thake Ami to radhika pakshapati sada kabhu nahi heri thake. We just heard Gurudev telling a story where Śrīla Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja quoted this verse. Okay. When will I become the maidservant of Vrishabhanu's daughter? Let everyone aside from Shri Radha's party be as they are. I am always partial to Shri Radha and never look upon those who are not. Whenever there was a disturbance in the service at one of the mats, it was always Thakurani, Srimati Radhika, who would report it to him, not Thakur, Krishna. Accordingly, he would then take steps to remedy the situation. He always referred to Srimati Radhika in this manner as Thakurani. He would rarely ever speak her name aloud. In this way, he expressed his Karshnaika Sharanatva, his exclusive surrender to Krishna's dear most beloved, Srimati Radhika, which is the topmost zenith that this quality can reach. Wow, it's a really nice way to explain Krishnaika Sharan. That's the topmost zenith that this quality can reach. One's exclusive surrender to Krishna's dear most beloved Srimati Radhika. Okay, quality 13, akama, desireless. Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja never sought anything from anyone in this world. He used to say, my Gurudev told me, you will not have to worry about serving Bhagavan. The moment you think of something you need in order to render some service, the arrangement will be made. So he said that my Gurudev told me this. In reality, Shri Gurudev alone is the main custodian of all service rendered to Shri Shri Gaur Radha Vinod Bihari. He is the one who makes all the arrangements. We simply collect ingredients of service as per his arrangement. What to speak of this world? There is nothing we seek from anyone in the entire universe. Instead of seeking to receive anything from anyone, he would endlessly glorify Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga without any trace of ulterior motive. He would gesture toward the pictures of his Guru Varga and say, "They see to all our maintenance and nourishment. All this time, they have been seeing to our real welfare. They are doing so right now as well, and they will certainly continue to do so in the future." Quality 14. Niriha, effortless, indifferent. All the endeavors of one who is Jivan Mukta, who is liberated while living in this world, are strictly for the sake of Krishna's pleasure, as neither indulgence nor renunciation is part of the living entity's eternal dharma. This is the next sentence. As neither indulgence nor renunciation is part of the living entity's eternal dharma, Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja was never seen to engage in either sort of pursuit. He displayed this sort of indifference in his life, thereby expressing the pinnacle of Sharanagati. Nija bala cheshta prati bharasa chariya tomara ichaya achi nirbhara koriya. Is that Nivedan Kori Prabhu? Oh, Tumi Sarveshwarishwara, Rajendra Kumar, by Bhaktivedānta Thakur. Giving up faith in my own strength and efforts, I am here at your will, relying upon you. In one sense, he was constantly striving, engaging his body, mind, and words in the service of Sri Hari. On the other hand, he was utterly inactive when it came to accumulating profit, worship, and prestige. 15. Sthira, steady. Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja would sit for hours on end in the midst of an assembly or on his bed, immersed in his activities. It seems like an impossible task to us, who are all of rather restless natures. This was truly an indication of the steadiness imbued throughout his body, mind, and words. Once a devotee said to him, "I have been looking for you for so many days. You never stay in one place." In response, he said, "What is sthir? One who is always engaged in the service of Shri Shri Guru Gauranga is sthir. Everyone else is not sthir." That means steady, situated in there, like that. Once a devotee living in a mat in Navadip expressed a desire to live in one of the mats in Vrajmandal. Srila Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja said to him, "For one who has not realized the glory of Gaudamandal, Vrajmandal is just a place with trees, roads, houses, ponds, and fields. That is why our Guru Varga sung, Guru Dev Boro Kripa Kori Gaudavana Majhe. Chitta stira habe sakala sahibo ekante bhajibo hari." Gurudev, bestowing great mercy on me, you have given me a place in Gaura's forest and ordered me to sit in this Vraj and chant Harinam. But when will you have mercy on this servant and give me the qualification to do so? Then my mind, my chitta, will be steady, and I will tolerate everything, and I will perform bhajan of Hari with exclusive focus. And so he continued, Sri Guru Padma is the foremost Vrajvasi. The place he instructs us to do bhajan is indeed Vraj. One who sees the forests of Gauda and Vraj as non-different is a real Vrajvasi. He alone is sthira, because his soul is offered to the instruction of Guru Padma. That is how one attains the qualification to perform one-pointed bhajan. Okay, quality 16. Vijita Shardguna, victorious over the 6 enemies. One who has conquered lust, anger, greed, illusion, pride, and envy is referred to as Vijita Sharguna. It was as if the word Indriya Tarpan, sense enjoyment, was not in Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja's dictionary. These 6 foes of the soul had no sway over him. All of his senses were fully dovetailed with the senses of Shishi Guru Gauranga, so he was quite naturally Vijita Sharguna. Quality 17, Mitta Bhuk, moderate in diet. From birth, Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja never partook any non-vegetarian foodstuff. He would say, I really am a Vigashasi Bhritya, or a servant who grew up eating the remnants of the Vaiṣṇavas, my masters. He never, even by mistake, ate anything that was not offered. Hence, the flaw of atyahara, consuming too much, could never attack him. By his ideal example, he taught never to judge the taste of prasad while honoring it. If asked how the cooking was, he would always respond, I have rendered service to prasad. Sometimes he would say, I do not know good or bad, I just render service. There was no question of him eating too much. Daily he ate an amount proportionate to a few small children-sized bowls. Quality 18, Apramatta, unagitated. He was firmly established in the Rupanuga words, Asakti rohita sambandha sahita vishaya samoha sakalai madhava. That's from Dushtaman Tumiki Sera Vaiṣṇava by Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada. If one is devoid of material attachment and endowed with divine knowledge of one's relationship with Krishna, then one knows that all objects of the senses belong only to Madhav. Hence, he never fell prey to the maddening preoccupation with sense objects. As his full attachment was focused on the source of everything, no attraction or repulsion in regard to material enjoyment could affect him. Quality 19, Amani, without any desire for honor, and quality 20, Manada, respectful of others. Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja was, from head to toe, the personification of Amani Manada. Even though he had the rare fortune of being in the proximity of Prabhupada, even though he had the rare fortune of being in the proximity of Prabhupada Śrīla Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and the fortune of serving him personally and receiving Hari Nam from him, he never even attempted to take pride in that great fortune or count himself as one of Prabhupada's disciples. He would always say, My Gurudev is Jagat Guru Śrīla Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, and his Gurudev is Jagat Guru Sri Śrīla Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. One day, Śrīla Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj privately addressed him as Guru Bhai, as godbrother. And Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja burst into tears, objecting with the words, Prabhupada is yours, and you are mine. Once there's this story is told in greater detail. I posted it on Vine of Devotion. We sent it out one time. Anyways, maybe we could read it afterwards. Once a disciple asked him, can we refer to both Śrīla Keshav Goswami Maharaj and Śrīla Prabhupada as Param Gurudev? In response to this, he said, you want to say this because of my one little interaction receiving Harinam from Śrīla Prabhupada, and earn some thereby earn some pratishta. And that you want to say this because of my one little interaction and earn some pratishta that way? However, I do not maintain the ego, the abhiman, that Śrīla Prabhupada is my Gurudev, so he cannot be your Param Gurudev. Only Śrīla Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj is your Param Gurudev. Actually, maybe let's read it now. I think it's right. I think I can find it here. Give me 1 second. Yeah, it's really nice. Just opening up Vine. Okay, vineofdevotion.com. Where is it? 1 second. It'll just take me a second to find it. It's so beautiful. I think it's here in Titikata. I think it's here. Yeah, okay, see it. So here's a. This is a memory from Shripad Bhaktivedānta Tapasvi Mahārāja, published in Rays of the Harmonist Online, Fortnightly Centennial Edition, issue 25. Okay. So. Once I asked Guru Maharaj, Śrīla Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja, Guru Maharaj, we, your disciples, have 2 Param Gurudevs, don't we? He was surprised to hear this. 2 Param Gurudevs, he exclaimed. Tell me, who? With some hesitation, I said, one is Śrīla Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Gosvāmī Mahārāja, your Diksha Guru, and the second is Śrīla Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, your Harinam Guru. I had a keen desire in my heart to also call Śrīla Prabhupada Param Gurudev. 1 second, let me just make this bigger. Okay. Yeah, so I had a keen desire in my heart to also call Śrīla Prabhupada Gurudev, Param Gurudev, because it was from him that my Guru Maharaj had received Harinam. If I could call Śrīla Prabhupada Param Gurudev, it would be a matter of great pride. At least from the perspective of what took place, I could certainly call him that. But what if Guru Maharaj didn't permit us to do so? Then my doing so would be disastrous. That was my fear. I contemplated this in that manner and eventually raised this concern to Guru Maharaj. Guru Maharaj immediately understood my mood. In a peaceful manner, he replied, You all have only 1 Param Gurudev, not 2. Simply because of one incident, you are thinking like that. But that alone is not sufficient. Śrīla Prabhupada cannot be your Param Gurudev. Śrīla Prabhupada cannot be your Param Gurudev, because I cannot seat him on the asana of being my Guru Pad Padma. My Guru Pad Padma is Śrīla Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Gosvāmī Mahārāja, and his Guru Pad Padma is Śrīla Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. That is it. There is nothing more than that. Once I clearly expressed this very matter to my Guru Maharaj, Śrīla Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Gosvāmī Mahārāja. Saying this, Guru Maharaj narrated an incident from his own life. It happened when our press, Gauranga Printing Works, shifted from Kolkata to Sri Udharan Gaudiya Math in Chunchura. One day I was working at a desk, absorbed in preparing an article for printing. Nearby, Guru Maharaj was resting on his easy chair. There was no one else present. Suddenly, I heard Guru Maharaj say, "O Guru Bhai." Hearing this, I wondered, let me see which of Guru Maharaj's Guru Bhai, which god brother he's calling for. I will call for him and then resume my work. Thinking like this, I asked Guru Maharaj, "Who has come, Gurudev? Who are you calling?" "No one else is here," he said. "I am calling you." Surprised, I asked, "Am I your Guru Bhai?" "Why not?" he replied. "You have received Harinam from Prabhupada, so you are indeed Prabhupada's disciple." Hearing these words deeply pained me. I said, "It may be that I have received Harinam from Prabhupada, but I am not his disciple. You are the disciple of Prabhupada, and I am your disciple. I have never thought of myself as one sheltered by Prabhupada. You alone are my shelter, and I trust this much only. Now you are calling me Guru Bhai. Does that mean I am not your sheltered one? I am not your ashrit?" If so, I have become shelterless. I have seen in an article by Srila Bhaktivedānta Thakur that Mantra Diksha Guru is actually Shri Nam Guru. Therefore, you alone are my Nam Guru, and I am your disciple in every respect. You have called me your Guru Bhai. Do you now want to push me away from being under your shelter? O Gurudev, these words have greatly pained me. I put my head down on the table between my two arms and started weeping. At that time, Gurudev stood up from his easy chair and came over to me. Stroking my head with his hands, he said, I was simply joking with you. You are indeed my disciple. All right, I will never again call you Guru Bhai. You are not the disciple of Prabhupada. You are indeed my disciple, my sheltered one. Don't be disheartened anymore. Then my Guru Maharaj, Śrīla Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja, said to me, I hope you understand why I have told you of this incident. You all do not have two Param Gurudevs, only one, and he is Jagat Guru Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Keshav Goswami Maharaj. In this way, Guru Maharaj declared his firm Siddhanta. Hearing this, I was astonished. What amazing Guru Nishta Guru Maharaj has! He never mentioned his receiving Harinam from Srila Prabhupada in an assembly or before any individual. Considering himself a disciple of Srila Prabhupada would have put him on the same level as Srila Keshav Goswami Maharaj, and he never maintained such an identity, such an abhiman. I think that Param Gurudev's joke with Guru Maharaj was actually not a joke, but a test. Param Gurudev wanted to see Guru Maharaj's inner steadfastness, his antarnishta. Guru Maharaj had received Harinam from Srila Prabhupada, and therefore he is a disciple of Srila Prabhupada. Was it appropriate or not for Param Gurudev, Srila Keshav Goswami Maharaj, to consider Srila Prabhupada's disciple his own, simply because he had given Guru Maharaj Diksha mantras? To test him, he playfully addressed Guru Maharaj as Guru Bhai. By this, he saw evidence of Guru Maharaj's inner steadfastness and that his Sajan Sevak is 100% his disciple. Therefore, without a doubt, Guru Maharaj has one Gurudev, not two. Okay, isn't that beautiful? Oh, nobody's here. I'm just reading anyways. Maybe somebody will come in the future and hear this. I don't know. I'm just reading to myself right now. Okay? Okay, so back to the 26 qualities of a Vaishnava. Even though he received Harinam from Srila Prabhupada and Diksha mantras from Srila Bhaktivedānta Keshav Goswami Maharaj, before Srila Keshav Goswami Maharaj even took sannyas, even though he was a direct witness to the founding of Sri Gaudiya Vedanta Samiti, even though he was chosen as the president and acharya by Srila Keshav Goswami Maharaj, and even though he was a peerless scholar of all the scriptures, a living, breathing encyclopedia of Siddhanta, even though he was entirely beyond compare in every way, he never made any efforts to be treated differently or earn prestige by making it known that he was somehow superior. He considered himself to be a negligible servant of the Samiti. His natural humility was such that the day before his appearance day, to avoid the ceremony of Guru Puja, he would suddenly disappear and go where no one could find him. He gave honor to all as befitting their status, and always taught his disciples to give honor to their seniors, thus manifesting the practice of manada dharma, giving respect to others. His expertise in giving proper honor to people in both worldly and spiritual settings was truly exemplary. If someone wanted any sort of respect or prestige, he seemed to be omniscient of their desire, and never hesitated to fulfill it. And even when he was very vocal about what was unfavorable to bhakti or the sampradaya, his statements and conduct never transgressed his naturally respectful nature. Quality 21, Gambhira, grave. Haribol, Ganga Mataji. Okay, so I guess that for some, it's saying here that there's nobody watching. It says 0 people, as you can see here, but I guess it's not accurate. So I guess this isn't really accurate of who's watching. Haribol, Anjali Didi. Dandavat pranams to both of you. Okay, great. 21, Gambhira, grave. Though Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja had a natural childlike gentleness, at the same time, his gravity was unsurpassable. He followed closely every word of his Sri Guru Varga, and thus, being fully versed in Shabda Brahma and Para Brahma, he retained an ocean-like aura of gravitas at every step. Just as it is difficult to deduce from the surface of the ocean that it is a treasure chest of gems, similarly, it was difficult to detect from outside the glow of the radiant blue sapphire, the Ujjvala Nilamani, situated in the depth of his heart. In front of that vast gravity, all manner of frivolous talk would bow away, and the witch of the desire for prestige would vanish in fear. 22. Karuna, compassionate. As the personified mercy of Krishna, Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja's butter-like heart was always melting with the quality of compassion. There is no counting how many hundreds of impoverished individuals he lent his full assistance to. Seeing their inclination to perform Hari Bhajan, he supported them with money, goods, wise instructions, and helps them develop or increase the fortitude of mind necessary to perform bhajan, thus not allowing them to stray from or be deprived of this exalted path. Literally, thousands of people, amid the most precarious situations of their lives, had more faith and confidence in him than in their own family members. Knowing he was theirs, they could be peaceful and worry-free. Either he would be there for them in person, or he would send someone trustworthy to help them. Otherwise, if he was very busy, he would confer valuable instructions via letters, hundreds of letters, which stand testament to his painstaking efforts to extend himself to help them. To this day, the thought of his magnanimity draws forth tears from the eyes of those persons. Just on this topic, the letters that he wrote, if you see this book, A True Servant, A True Master, each letter could be an article in a magazine. They're so beautifully presented, and so many, every letter, and they're very long, and he wrote them all by hand, and he would send them just to some nobody, like some random person in the middle of a village, and he would put all this time and energy and effort into writing a full article for one person, not a big person. Mostly, actually, they were housewives. You'll see. Okay. Another special feature of his compassion was that he would not readily give any instruction to anyone, even to his disciples. First, he would observe and evaluate their capacity, their mindset, and inclination to fulfill his instruction. His reasoning was, if a jiva disobeys my direct order because he is in a conditioned state and is compelled by the stubborn habits of misusing his independence since time immemorial, then because he will have committed the offense of disobeying one's guru avagya, he will sink further to a lowly condition of existence. Once again, because he is bereft of shelter, he will have to wander aimlessly through countless species of life. Since he does not know how to obtain the shelter of a bona fide guru, how many more lifetimes will he have to wait? Rather than benefiting him, I will have caused him unimaginable suffering. Just because he does not understand the risk of neglecting a direct order, does not mean I can be frivolous in this regard. Therefore, he would, with utmost respect, say, "If I say something, will you kindly listen?" Or, "If you do this service, Hari, Guru, and Vaishnavas will be pleased with you." Thus he would give instructions in a very polite and indirect manner. On this topic, though, in this book of letters, True Servant and True Master, about 1/4 of the letters were written to Umandiri. And you could see even in the very first letters, he gave instructions to her, not to anybody else. You'll see through the letters, there aren't that many instructions, like direct instructions, but to her, he would give direct instructions. Like in one of the first letters that he wrote her, he told her to chant 64 rounds a day. And she never, throughout her whole life, from young age all the way to the very end of her life, she never missed a single day of chanting 64 rounds. Because he knew that she would follow his order, that she wouldn't disobey his order. So he felt confident in her. That's, yeah. Okay, 23, Maitri, friendly. Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja had profoundly deep friendships with Vaishnavas. There is no calculating the amount of assistance, both financial and otherwise, he discreetly offered to Srila Prabhupada's renounced disciples. Those who had even a glimpse of his friendship with Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Sri Śrīla Bhakti Jivan Janardana Goswami Maharaj can perhaps comprehend what friendship looks like between two Mahabhagavats. If he saw someone sincerely engaged in the service of Bhagavan, then no matter who that person was, there was no end to his affection for him. His door would be wide open for that person. 24. Kavi, a poet. Poets and poetry, I don't know how to say this word. Aficionados. Okay. Poets and poetry aficionados are referred to by the word kavi, but it can also refer to a scholar. Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja knew hundreds of poems of native and foreign poets by heart. He had learned these during his time in school in Mayapur, when he was going to the Thakur Bhaktivedānta Institute. And you'll see actually lots of times he'll quote from different poets in his letters, lots of times. He had, while others may have read the same poems and fall prey to the allure of Maya expressed in them, he, even as a young student, derived inspiration from them that was favorable to bhakti. He would explain very beautifully which poet he had felt had some semblance of devotion to Bhagavan, or which poem expressed teachings favorable to the cultivation of bhakti. We see another great personality who did this was Śrīmad Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj. He was always quoting different poets like Hegel and many different poems. As far as transcendental poetry is concerned, there is no fathoming how much of that he kept stored up in his heart. The way divine poetry would issue forth from his lips in an unbroken flow, like the current of the Ganga, one could only assume he was a messenger from that supramundane realm. That is why Shri Vinod, Srila Bhaktivedānta Keshav Goswami Maharaj, referred to him as Jivanta Gaudiya Abhidhan, the living encyclopedia of the Gaudiya Siddhanta. This treasure house of his was no burdensome accumulation bereft of Krishna bhakti, or a means to gain profit, worship, and adoration. He was truly a kavi in the sense that his consciousness was fully absorbed in relishing the ras of that divine poetry. And also in that letter book, you'll see in every single letter, he's quoting all sorts of kirtans that I've never even heard before, like by Bhaktivedānta Thakur, every obscure kirtan, all the Yamuna Bhavavali kirtans, or all the just kirtans I've never heard of before, he'd be quoting them everywhere. Because he had them all memorized by heart. It wasn't like he had to, like for a letter, he had to like search through many like songs and try to find the verse. No, he had every single song that Bhaktivedānta Thakur wrote, 300 songs. He had it all in his memory. He was truly a kavi in the sense that his consciousness was fully absorbed in relishing the ras of that divine poetry. There is one small poem he has written that gives us a glimpse of the expansive nature of his pure transcendental love. Okay, so this is something that he wrote. I don't actually understand this, but it's very poetic. Keho chaya shuddhu pita gor, Keho chai shamala nil. Some only want yellow gold, some want dark blue. Ami chahi shuddhu ramadhanu ranga, jahate shakali mila. I just want the colors of Rama's bow, the rainbow, wherein all meet. Keho bhalobhashe swarna champa, keho bhalobhashe shuddhu jui. Some love golden champak, some just love jasmine. Sajana bhagane sneha mamataya, kake reke kake chui. Both are arranged in the garden via love and attachment. Which one do I turn a blind eye to? And which do I choose to caress? Bhalovashi sabe apana bhaviya, bandiya pritir raki. I love all, feeling them to be my own, binding them with the amulet of love. Keho nahe paro pai samadar, guna surabe saba dhaki. No one is other. They all receive the same honor, as I douse them in the perfume of virtue. Yeah, I don't know. That's very possible. But it's very, very poetic, very mysterious. Okay, so quality 25, Daksha, expert. Oh, and Anjali Didi is saying, a quarter of the letters are, yes, they are. No, she's just mentioning how a quarter of the letters are to Umadidi, yeah. 25, Daksha, expert. It is very difficult for conditioned souls to remember Krishna by themselves. This is why Krishna has mercifully manifested the Vedas, Puranas, and other scriptures, wherein various rules and regulations for different people of different capacities reveal the gradual path to remembering Krishna at all times. All these rules and regulations are, at first glance, perceived by the conditioned soul to be very difficult to follow. Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja, through his own conduct, very expertly revealed to the living entities how to apply these instructions of Scripture in their lives, whereby they can gain the mental fortitude to move forward in sadhan bhajan in a pure and proper way. He always said, all the instructions of the Scriptures are not for anyone but me. So in that way, we never pass a judgment on everyone. He's not following this order. No, we see everything, all the instructions in Scriptures, just for that they're for me. Once a devotee asked, Gurudev, then are they not for us? He laughed and replied, if you become mine, then they are also for you. In other words, I follow all the instructions of the Scriptures because they were prescribed just for me. Since they are not for anyone else, I do not bother to see who is following them and who is not. If you inherit this conception of mine, then you too will be benefited from these instructions. There is no limit to the expertise he displayed in proving, through comparative analysis, the inferiority of the craving for material enjoyment or impersonal liberation, and thereby establishing Krishna Bhakti as the Dharma of the soul. Whether there was only one person present to listen, or 10 or thousands, astonishingly, he always invested 100% of his effort into communicating these truths. No matter how many people came to see him per day, how many religious assemblies he was invited to, or how many homes he was requested to deliver Harikatha in, he was always fully eager and ready to fulfill said demands and paid no attention to any bodily inconvenience incurred in the course of doing so. As I mentioned, he would write things that should be published in Gaudiya Patrika. He'd just write it to one nobody anywhere. So those who heard his sublime nectarious Harikatha, which was full of profound realizations of Scripture and relieved its listeners of doubt, had no taste in any other katha. This special expertise of his distinguished him. His writings are the same, profound, sublime, and beautifully articulate. It was with great expertise that he published many sacred texts written by the Goswamis in order to preserve and protect the Sampradaya. Okay, now we come to the last quality, Moni, silent. In the age of Kali, the age of conflict, to be silent in the midst of conversations that are not related to Krishna is the only intelligent thing to do. This was one of Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja's special instructions. He would often say, "The last instruction my Gurudev gave me was Dekhibe, Dekhbi, Shunbi, Bolbi na. See, hear, but do not speak. You have eyes, so you will see. You have ears, so you will hear. And you have a mouth, but don't speak." This instruction was something Śrīla Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja personally followed very strictly. If he saw someone knowingly doing something wrong, he would see such behavior as irremediable. Irremediable. Sorry, that's probably really basic. And he would remain silent. At times, his silence would be for the sake of chastisement. He would say, "A dumb mute has no enemies." Thus he would remain untouched by unwanted association and conflict, and stay immersed in Krishna Kirtan, the one sublime feature of Kali Yuga. In this way, he instructed his followers to do the same. But when he saw that in this age, even a dumb mute has enemies, he commenced his pastimes of illness and became fully silent. He would recognize everyone and smile, but would not say anything besides Hare Krishna. Like Śrīmad Mahaprabhu in his final pastimes, Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja began to spend most of his time absorbed in an internal realm of service. We heard about this, Gurudev is explaining this exact point in our reading this morning. Gurudev mentioned this point, that sometimes he would be observed calling out to his Thakurani. Sometimes he would be tossing and turning on his bed, uttering the following couplet: "Krishna re bapare kotha mor hari, kon dike gela mor prana kori churi." "O Krishna, alas, where is my Hari? Which way did you go, having stolen my heart?" Sometimes he would be wide awake in the middle of the night, clutching Śrīmad Bhagavatam to his chest, gazing at it. He displayed extreme indifference to anything that was not related to Krishna. Sometimes, unknowingly, he would reveal a hint of his internal service, but then, the next moment, he would come to external consciousness and try to conceal it. Though he was always trying to keep his swarup hidden, his inner mood of a Vrajagopi revealed itself in various emotions and expressions. Entering Nitya Lila. Many times he said, "I will leave this world on the bank of the Ganga in Bhagavan's Dham, in the midst of loud sankirtan in all four directions." And so it came to be. In late 2004, he was being looked after at Sri Nimai Tirtha Gaudiya Math in Vaidyabhati near Kolkata. As if he could sense his departure to the eternal abode was imminent, he suddenly returned to Sri Navadip Dham on the Akadashi just prior to the start of Damodar Vrat. Many devotees came from all over to gather at Sri Devananda Gaudiya Math in Navadip to observe Kartik Vrat in his proximity. From time to time, he made public appearances, fulfilling the devotees' desires for his darshan. But from the day of Sri Anukut Mahotsav, the illusory forces of Maya began to cover their eyes as the health of his sacred form, of his Sri Anga, appeared to deteriorate. The next day, 14/11/2004, seeing his health deteriorating further, his sevaks considered shifting him to Kolkata immediately. But he would not allow himself to be moved. He did not want to leave the banks of the Ganga, to set one foot outside of Navadvip, which is non-different from Govardhan. The devotees began to do kirtan all throughout the math. As the night progressed, the apprehension about his departure increased, and just after midnight, at around 12:37 a.m., on the third day of the bright lunar fortnight, Shukla Tritiya Tithi, during Amrita Yoga, a very auspicious time, just as his sevaks applied tilak to his limbs, he disappeared from our midst. As he had always been the intimate companion, servant, and right-hand man of his Gurudev, Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Keshav Gosvāmī Mahārāja, he was given a resting place to the right-hand side of his beloved Gurudev's samadhi. Both the appearance and disappearance of Bhagavan's associates are for the welfare of the world. They know that as long as they are directly manifest before us, we remain trapped in the external vision of them, content with having seen their external appearance, often not even attempting to appreciate who they really are. Hence, they have just cause to conceal themselves from the world and from us for our benefit. On one hand, they teach us renunciation by showing us the transience of human life. However, if we have some love for them, we will know them to be an eternal truth, the ashraya vigraha, and will strive eagerly on the path of sadhan bhajan, following the principles of real renunciation, yukta vairagya, in order to one day meet with them again. All glories to the supremely worshipful Ashraya Vigraha, Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupad, Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja. All glories to the Vishaya Vigraha, Shishi Gaur Nityananda, Shishi Gaur Gadadhar, Shishi Radha Vinod Bihari Ju. Jai Śrīla Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja Ki Jai. I just want to reread that last sentence though. That was so beautiful. However, if we have some love for them, we will know them to be an eternal truth, the Ashraya Vigraha, and will strive eagerly on the path of sadhan bhajan, following the principles of real renunciation, yukta vairagya, in order to one day meet with them again. That's beautiful. All right, so that is our reading for today. Tomorrow I will also read, I don't know what I'll read. There's a short biography in this book, A True Servant, A True Master, at the end of the book. It's very beautiful. And so I think I might read from that. But also Srivas is going to be posting on bigdrum.us 2 articles, and so I'd like to read that as well. Actually, let's just take a look, see if he already published them. Bigdrum.us. Let's see. I'm just going there right now. No, it's not post, but he's going to post it very soon. So yeah, you can go to that website and check it out. All right, I'll just end with quick Mahamantra and Jaidvani, and then hopefully you can join the reading tomorrow. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. So if anybody, I highly recommend getting this book, A True Servant, A True Master, Letters from Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja. I had the fortune to be able to do some little service for this book. Srivas translated it, and I did the checking, like fidelity check. And just going through all of these words, it had a, like, I can't explain. It had a very deep impact. Like this book is one of those life-changing books. Just the compassion that you see, the compassion that he feels for his disciples, and you can't explain it. You have to read it to be able to understand. But it really shows you all these. Yeah. Anyways, I'm sorry. I don't even know what to say. But yeah, I highly recommend that anybody, if they'd like to read it. Yeah, you can probably find a PDF of it on purebhakti.com. Otherwise, you can get the physical book. Right. Jai Shishi Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhari Shishi Radha Vinod Bihari Ju Ki Jai Shri Govinda Gopinath Madan Mohan Ju Ki Jai Nityalila Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashatara Shata Shishmar Bhaktivedānta Narayan Gosvāmī Mahārāja Śrīla Guru Deva Ki Jai Nityalila Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashatara Shata Shishmar Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja Ki Jai Nityalila Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashatara Shata Shishmar Bhaktivedānta Trivikram Gosvāmī Mahārāja Ki Jai Nityalila Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashatara Shata Shishmar Bhaktivedānta Swami Mahārāja Śrīla Prabhupada Ki Jai Nityalila Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashatara Shata Shishmar Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Gosvāmī Mahārāja Ki Jai Nityalila Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashatara Shata Shishmar Bhaktivedānta Swami Mahārāja Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai Nityalila Pravishta Maha Bhagavat Śrīla Gaur Kishodas Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai Nityalila Pravishta Śrīla Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai Nityalila Pravishta Vaiṣṇava Sarvabhauma Śrīla Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai Shri Rupa Anuga Gauriya Guru Varga Ki Jai Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jeev Gopal Bhattadasa Raghunath Sharda Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Śrīla Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Kshetra Mandala Gaura Mandala Vraja Mandala Mathura Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Sarva Abhishta Pradata Giriraj Maharaj Ki Jai Shri Radha Kunda Shama Kunda Ki Jai Shri Yamuna Devi Ganga Devi Ki Jai Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi Ki Jai Shri Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Shri Purnamasi Yoga Maya Ki Jai Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev Ki Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Kartik Vrat Niyam Seva Ki Jai Urja Vrat Ki Jai Urjeshwari Raseshwari Shri Vrishabhanu Nandini Shrimati Radha Thakurani Ki Jai Jai the Adivas Titi of Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Adivas Tirubhav Titi of Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja Ki Jai and Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Trivikram Gosvāmī Mahārāja Ki Jai. Oh, and Shri Vasudev Ghosh Ki Jai Todiya Shubha Tirubhav Titi Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo Vrindai Tulsi Devai Priyai Keshavashacha Krishna Bhakti Pradadevi Sattavatai Namo Namaha Vancha Kalpaturu Bhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhya Evacha Patitanam Pavane Bhyo Vaishnave Bhyo Namo Namaha. Dandavat Pranams, Haribo, Anjali Didi, and Ganga Mataji. And I see there's one other person there watching. Whoever you are, I can't see your name unless you write a comment. Thank you so much for reading the glories of Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Vāmana Gosvāmī Mahārāja with me. I look forward to reading more glories tomorrow with you. And if any of you would like to hear Gurudev's glorification of them, you can find on my YouTube channel. I read a beautiful glorification from Śrīla Gurudev that he gave in 1991 and 1994, I think. Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. So, Jai Shri Radhe, Hare Krishna, Haribo, Anjali Didi, and Ganga Mataji. Pranams. Alright, I'm going to end the stream now. Haribo.